Welcome to SBR Stand Reviews, a take on Eclipse's famous stand reviews series where instead of focusing on 1v1s, we will be tackling stands based on their compatibility in Steel Ball Run, the toughest battlefield in YBA filled with intense fighting, various strategies, teamers, wipers, and exploiters. In today's episode, we will be taking a look at our favorite pink fridge, Tusk Act 4. Now let's go over what Tusk Act 4 can do. First off, Tusk Act 4 has fast stand speed and high destructive power, each M1 dealing 9 damage and each barrage hit dealing 1.5 damage per hit. Your barrage finisher deals 18 damage, breaks block, and cannot be cancelled, however it can be parried. Your T is nail shots, which fires 3 blockable nails towards the cursor that deal 8 damage each. This move cannot be cancelled. Your Y, golden rectangle nail. Ow, you son of a. Your Y, golden rectangle nail, is probably one of the best moves for SBR. You fire 1 nail that deals 18 damage and bypasses block. However, it can be interrupted if the enemy hits you. Next is your X move, wormhole nails. This move redirects all missed nails to a cursor-targeted enemy. It on default generates 2 extra nails to chase the targeted enemy. All redirected nails are blockable. The move itself is cancelable. Your C or wormhole uppercut makes you teleport beneath the closest enemy and hit them, dealing 13.5 damage. The hit is blockable, but if it lands, Tusk will proceed to beat them up, ragdolling, stand crashing and dealing around 30 damage. However, you shouldn't use this on a horse as it has rather flying results. T-time or your H move heals you for a decent amount, however it can be cancelled if you get hit during its start up. Your Z is fingernail glide, your main mobility move. You can use moves while gliding as long as you only hold the Z key. This move can be interrupted if you get attacked by others. There are other niche scenarios where this move can come in handy, but we'll talk more about that later. And finally, your G move, aka the funny beatdown, Arigato Giro. Tusk throws out a punch that can be parried and cancelled. However, if it wasn't parried or cancelled, a long and boring beatdown ensues where both you and your enemy will be invincible to outside attacks. However, Tusk will beat the absolute crap out of the enemy hit, dealing about 70 damage when the beatdown finally ends. Also, I muted the beatdown because the music that plays is copyrighted, and also because the beatdown itself is deafeningly loud. Would you like to hear it? Here you go. Oh, and also I forgot to mention, Tusk Act 4's passive infinite rotation allows it to bypass damage reflecting counters such as SCR's Your Own Shadow and D4CLT's Love Train. It also grants Tusk Act 4 up to 4 seconds of time stop resistance. And that wraps up Tusk's moveset. Now we can talk about the skill tree and recommended spec, then the various strategies involved when playing Tusk Act 4 in Steel Ball Run. For character skill tree, I got max agility, vitality 9, sturdiness 1 and health regeneration 2. As for my boxing skill tree, I'm rocking max meat shield, max tough skin, mastered eye gouge, jawbreaker and the damage boost for all skills. For Tusk Act 4, I've unlocked fingernail glide, upgraded T-time to acquired taste 2 and maxed everything else. I've also changed my wormhole uppercut keybind to U. Now for recommended specs, we must talk about boxing. Boxing is very good with Tusk Act 4 as with basically every other stand in YBA. All jokes aside, besides the damage reduction passives, Jawbreaker works well as a combo finisher and a guard break. Mastered Eye Gouge guarantees the funny beatdown and is a very good combo extender. As for Fist Barrage, personally I don't use it that much, and for the purposes of SBR where teamers run rampant, you're better off saving skill points for other upgrades. Haman is an alternative if you intend to play a little bit more passively. All of your moves get buffed by Haman and the defense buff from charging Haman is nothing to scoff at. Zoom Punch can grant you more M1s, which means more damage. Scarlet Overdrive may be the worst true block break in the game, but it's a true block break nonetheless. And Sunlight Yellow Overdrive is a similar case to Fist Barrage. You're better off spending your points elsewhere. You can also use Spin to become the ultimate projectile spammer. Spin can buff the damage of your nails so you can play very passively. Golden Skin gives a defense buff, so always spam that when it's off cooldown. The Steel Ball moves should be used in tandem with your nail moves, and Spin Punch is an okay combo finisher. But really in the end you just want to spam nails and balls if you were to run Tusk Act 4 Spin. Vampire and Pluck are less common but can still be used. Vaporization Freeze and Space Ripper Stingy Eyes can be confirmed off of Wormhole Nails, and the Blood Bar can help with staying alive. Pluck's moves can help with Tusk Act 4's less than substantial close-ranged combat, and Aerial Ace can help with your below-average mobility. And since you have time stop resistance, you mostly don't have to worry about having 80% of your health deleted by TS stands. Now we shall talk about strategies in solos, strategies in teams, and special strategies for Tusk Act 4 when playing SBR. For strategies in solos, Tusk Act 4 really falls short on this regard when you are one lone fighter against the server. All of your moves have decent startup and end lag. Plus, since most of your moves can be interrupted, it's quite difficult to dish out damage if the enemy ignores social distancing rules and stays in close-ranged combat vicinity to M1 you to death. So this means you must keep your distance from the attacker or attackers in order for Tusk Act 4's nail moves to prove effective. This doesn't mean you should stray away entirely from close-ranged combat though. Since you have fast stand speed and relatively high destructive power, you can absolutely mash M1s and nail shots against a single target with a stand that has low destructive power and slow stand speed. I can't say the same against teams though, and I will go over each move again and explain why Tusk Act 4 struggles in a 1v2 or 1v3 scenario. Nail shots in and of itself is a perfectly fine move, until you consider that it slows you to a crawl and has quite a bit of end lag, meaning even if you can keep one enemy at bay, their teammates are still free to come up to your face and force you into close quarters combat, and then the enemy you previously kept at bay can catch up and it's like you never used nail shots at all, and considering that your nail shots doesn't really do a lot of damage, you're better off not using this move against teams. Okay, then what about Golden Rectangle Nail? Surely an unblockable 18 damage nail is more worthwhile than 3 separate 8 damage nails, right? Well, kind of. First off, it ragdolls and deals more damage in a single nail, so this move would prove more effective at dishing out more damage in an instant. However, the issue with nail shots still stands with Golden Rectangle Nail, with the added issue of Golden Rectangle Nail getting cancelled when the enemy hits you. It's also the case with Wormhole Nails. It literally immobilizes you and allows the target's teammate to gang up on your immobile butt. So yeah, unfortunately the design philosophy of your nail moves clearly did not have multi-target in mind. In layman's terms, Tusk Act 4's nail moves are meant to be used as a support move that complements for your teammate's lack of range and control. But we're getting into strategies in teams, not solos anymore. Not only is tea time a heal, and it also serves an alternate purpose. It can slow your horse's speed by 10, which may sound useless, but you can actually use this after the Devil's Palm Rush to immediately slow down your horse to save stamina and continue on to stage 2. In the end it's a solid heal and it saves your horse's stamina. Win-win and a very good move. Fingernail Glide, aside from serving as your only mobility to escape teams, it has 2 other purposes. 1. As a way to guarantee a beatdown 90% of the time. That's right, if you use Wormhole Nails on a target while gliding, then immediately use your beatdown. It can guarantee your beatdown if timed correctly and quickly. You can also use Jawbreaker or Zoom Punch as less committed alternatives. Fingernail Glide also carries you to safety while in the end lag of Jawbreaker or Zoom Punch, so you won't have to worry about getting punished. Fingernail Glide can also increase your horse's speed again to around 38 speed temporarily. As such, you can use this as an escape on your horse from 0 to 38 speed immediately as you slowly accelerate on your horse's base speed, or you can use it to catch up to the pack. Or even during stage 3 where everyone's horses are slowed dramatically and you can use Fingernail Glide to gloat at their slowness. So just to recap, Fingernail Glide serves as your main mobility move off horse, a move that guarantees a beatdown, Jawbreaker, or Zoom Punch, and a speed boost on horse. Overall a very good and underrated part of Tusk Act 4's kit. The beatdown, however, I will say is a less than stellar move, not just based on the presentation of the beatdown, which is just a long and drawn-out barrage of punches, but also due to the predicament it puts you in since its duration is so lengthy and goes on forever. You are forced to sit there and wait out the 23 seconds of the beatdown only to get teamed on by a group of people camping around you, patiently waiting like wolves waiting for their prey. Not to say it's completely useless though. On a 1v1 fight this move can shift the momentum in battle dramatically. Not only does it deal a sizable amount of damage despite the numbers shown, it can also damage the enemy's morale as they're forced to sit there and take the hits while hearing the loud aura aura in their ears unless they parry it, which is what fingernail glide is for. Wink wink. Now for Wormhole Uppercut, the problem child of Tusk Act 4's moveset. First off, Wormhole Uppercut is a double-edged sword. It can serve as a good combo finisher or get you in trouble, since Tusk Act 4 is mostly effective at medium range. If the enemy manages to block the uppercut, they get to punish you and punish you hard for getting in their prime M1 range if they're using stands like SPTW and TWOH. But Wormhole Uppercut could serve as a gap closer against stands without a barrage or stands with slow stand speed. But in the end, you should never use this on a horse because as of this recording the flying results have not been patched and is considered bug abuse. So in the end, you should try to stay alive with heals and fingernail glide and stay away from brawls, as the last thing you want is to get hard targeted as a Tusk Act 4 user. Overall, unless you're very skilled, you should adapt a more passive playstyle and perhaps find teams to cover your immobile butt. However, be prepared to commit top 10 anime betrayals when time need be, like the final stage rush. And that wraps up Tusk Act 4's strategies and solos. Now let's go over how you should use Tusk Act 4 in teams to make the most out of its kit. Now for strategies in teams, this is where Tusk Act 4 truly shines, with teammates that can cover your immobile butt and protect you from the danger of other players. Let's start with your nail moves. Here the end lag and start up of each move can be neglected since you have teammates to cover your back. And since you have teammates, most players would try to run the opposite direction to escape. That's when all your nail moves can effectively catch people who are running away. The statement from Tea Time and Fingernail Glide also applies here, so now we can talk about the funny beatdown. Oh boy, they don't call this beatdown the funny beatdown for no reason. Just like Wormhole Uppercut in solos, beatdown in teams could be one of your best moves or one of the most detrimental to your team. It being one of the best moves because it can be used to incapacitate an enemy for 23 seconds, if you successfully beat down an enemy whom is more skilled than the rest. Then they get to witness the death of all their comrades as they are unable to stop your team from blitzkrieging the remaining enemy forces. Or, you can accidentally beat down one of your teammates and then get your own squad wiped out by the enemies, and you'll be standing there like the great Chinese general Xiang Yu as he is surrounded by the enemy who sang songs of his nation as a method of weakening his morale. So yeah, a double-edged sword just like Wormhole Uppercut. Speaking of which, Wormhole Uppercut in teams is kind of like a worse version of your barrage finisher, since you're constantly surrounded by people. RNGesus may make you uppercut an ally by accident and ruin their combos. So yeah, don't use Wormhole Uppercut in teams, just don't do it. Other than that, there's not much I can tell you about strategies in teams that I haven't talked about in strategies in solos. Your main role is really to act as suppressing fire to assist your teammates in eliminating the opposition. Alright, now that we talked about strategies in teams, now we can look into the special strategies that you can do with Tusk Act 4. Now, say you wanna have some fun, what other strategies can you employ to really trivialize a SBR with Tusk Act 4? Well, see this brown thing? That's right, it's your horse. A horse is a Tusk user's best friend regardless of which act you have. Remember how I said your nail moves had decent end lag and limited your ability to fight teams? Well, horses can solve this issue very effectively. Horses in SBR act as a constant and unending movement speed source with the added move of Head Bonk. Head Bonk can be used to break block and ragdoll opponents. It can also be used in hit stun as a combo breaker. And since Tusk's Nail Glide and Tea Time can affect your horse's speed in meaningful ways, it's no wonder that the strategy of staying on a horse all game can benefit a Tusk user greatly. This strategy is known as the Tusk horse strategy for lack of a better term. When utilizing this strategy, you get to spam nails and the enemies are forced to run towards you to knock you off your horse or try to run away. Both cases are free chances for you to spam nails while staying a safe distance away. If they come charging at you, just make your horse run in the opposite direction and spam nails. If they try to run, chase after them and spam nails. If they try to get on their horse, use golden rectangle nail. barrage finisher, head bonk or any of the spec block breaks and block bypasses. If they call you spammer and runner, tell them it's fun though for maximum trolling. Not only is this very beneficial for you as the Tusk user, it can also piss off the enemy and damage them psychologically, which is very funny and why I say Tusk Act 4 is very much tailored to SBR. So yeah, the Tusk horse strategy is a very funny tactic that you should use if you haven't already. Just be sure to always stay on your horse, spam nails, keep your distance and annoy the enemy for maximum tomfoolery. That said, if you are trying to win, don't go trigger happy with your nails and piss off everyone in the server. Now let's talk about complementary stands or stands that work well with the pink fridge, then we can dive into the conclusion of this video. Welcome to complementary stands, the part where we go over stands that pair up well with the stand in question, in this case Tusk Act 4. So if you are playing Tusk Act 4, what should your duo partner be using to aid you in battle? Really, any of the frontline brawlers will do. Stands that can fight in the front lines allow Tusk Act 4 to provide suppressive fire and eliminate the opposition. So preferably stronger brawlers like Star Platinum, the World Alternate Universe, Star Platinum the World Over Heaven, King Crimson Requiem, Sea Moon and Maiden Heaven. But really the most preferable combos are the TS stands since Tusk Act 4 has the longest TS resist in game and can help stack up damage in the already extremely balanced time stop. Now, let's move over to the conclusion and we can finally wrap up this Tusk Act 4 SBR stand review. So in conclusion, Tusk Act 4 is a really powerful and popular stand for SBR. There is almost never a single round of competitive SBR without a Tusk Act 4 user in game. I must say hats off to Azu and the dev team for making Tusk as powerful on a horse as it is in the manga. If you haven't tried Tusk Act 4 in SBR with a team yet, go try it. It is extremely fun and entertaining to shoot people down with your teammates. But in the end, I must say one thing, let Tusk Act 4 use its beatdown while riding a horse that was extremely funny. Okay, bye.